Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is gonna be my Frankenpalette video. This is sort of a project that I've been doing for the past 2 years, and this year, even though when I came back home I created two Frankenpalettes, I didn't show them to you. So what I'm gonna do on this one is show you the Frankenpalettes that I created, and then I'm gonna do an updated video telling you the amount of eyeshadows that I've hit pan on. For those of you who are new, I choose from my big collection of Natasha Denona palettes, I choose a few shades creating my own palette since they are removable, and then what I try to do is use those palettes a ton, hit pan on a lot of them, and then keep track and tell you guys how much pan I've been hitting throughout the year. So on the next video that I will post on this Frankenpalette series, I'm gonna show you my Natasha Denona collection of palettes with the pans to tell you the shades that have pan on them from each palette, and that way you can see a lot of pan porn. But on today's video I'm just gonna show you the two Frankenpalettes that I created, and that way we can keep track. The goal for this year is gonna be to hit pan in 20 eyeshadows from Natasha Denona. 20 eyeshadows, I think it's a goal, it's a good goal, because I've hit pan in more than that. But this year I've been trying to use other palettes that have come into my collection. So I didn't want to start with 25 or 30 pans to hit. So if you want to see the Frankenpalettes that I created and the shades that I have in them and where they come from, then just keep on watching. Okay, so this year I did something different. I created two palettes, and I didn't want to create a big one, just two different palettes. They have sort of the same vibe of the first one that I created, which is a soft glam vibe from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I decided to do a palette with the bigger pans and then a palette with the smaller pans that it has about 2 or 3 bigger pans in it. I'm gonna show you first the one with the bigger pans, and then I'm gonna be telling you the names on it. So I'm gonna do a close-up and I will tell you the names of the eyeshadow, and we're gonna go like this, from the start to finish, and then the second row from start to finish and whatnot. Okay, so the first eyeshadow is Ice Gold from the Sunset palette, and this is basically a white color with gold speckles in it, but it's mostly a white eyeshadow. Then the second one, oh my goodness, I didn't put a name on this one. This is gonna be, I think this is from the Green Brown palette. I don't remember the name, but it's a satiny white. I wanted these palettes to be sort of like a bridal Frankenpalette. Then the third shade, this is from the Green Brown palette. This is Indian Gold. It's one of my favorites, and this is one that I want to hit pan on. I have a dent in it, but I still don't have pan on it. I have Tusk by Biba, which is a nude eyeshadow, basically a skin color. When it comes to my skin color, this is skin color. And it's great for cut crease when you don't want them to be mixed with white, which is too harsh. I have a few shades here that do not have names, guys, so I'm sorry. I think this one is from the Lila palette. This is Junio, I don't know how you pronounce that, from the Lila palette. The next one, which is another light pink, I think it's again from the Lila palette, yeah. Oh no, this is Piggy from the Blue Purple palette. So I have a few light shades that are more on the pinky side, and I wanted that because I truly want more of those type of shades, like bridal shades, like I said. This is Naga from the Trio Chrome palette, which is a lilac or lavender shade. Then I have Helio from the Lila palette. So I'm not going in the same order that I told you guys. What I'm doing is I'm going like this. I had Nude Mauve from the Lila palette, Golden Rose from the Blue Purple palette, and for me these are the shades that I love the most. I'm gonna swatch this one. Guys, as a staple on my makeup artistry, I do pink and peachy brides. That's something different. Most people do mauve brides, or they do just whitish with black. I do mostly pinky or peachy brides. That's just the way that I do bridal makeup, and my brides love it. And people that follow me, they hire me because I do a different type of bridal style, and that color Golden Rose would be one of those colors that I would put on my brides. This is Bermuda from the Sunset palette. Then I have Nude from the Cranberry palette, which I have this shade repeated because I have it in 2 different palettes and they both have pans. That was my favorite Natasha Denona shade back in the day. It's not anymore. I think I have more eyeshadows that I love, but I adore that shade nonetheless. And I have here Satin Tan from the Green Brown palette. I'm gonna start from the back since it's easier for me to remove the pans. So here I have, oh, this one doesn't have a name either. This is from the Gold palette, but for some reason the name got erased. I don't know why. So this is from the Gold palette. I don't know what eyeshadow is this one, but it looks beautiful. This one doesn't have a name either. I think this is from the Safari palette. I have Lavender Gray from the Purple Blue palette, which is a satiny or metallic shade. Bronzage from Sunset, which is another one of my favorites. I have pan in it. Sahara from the Tropic palette, which is one of my favorite palettes in my entire collection. Pastel Melon from the Tropic palette again. This is a great transition shade. And I have Vintage Taupe from the Tropic palette. This one has pan. It's again one of my favorite shades in my entire collection as a transition. Then fourth row, I have, I don't know how you pronounce that, but it's Purpure from the Lila palette. I don't use these shades that much, but when I use them, I really love how they look on my eyes and how they make my brown eyes pop. I have Tamarind from the Safari palette. I have Volcano from the Sunset palette, Aria from the Gold palette, and this one has pan. Ochre from the Green Brown palette. This one, the name got erased as well. This is from the Green Brown palette. I don't remember the name. So maybe that Sharpie was not working because a lot of the shades that I marked with that marker, they are not marked anymore. This is Cava from the Gold palette. She's a topper. It's one of my favorite formulas and she doesn't come up with them nearly enough. I wish she would have one on each of her palettes. Then on this one I have a Spot by Biba, which is the black and it's my favorite black of all time. Then I have Layla from the Lila palette, Maroon from the Purple Blue palette, Thorn from the Safari palette, which is a warm brown, the ones that I love the most as liners. Berries from the Gold palette. This one also has pan in it. And then Igneous from the Sunset palette, which is a shade that it's a repeat shade on the Gold, but it has a different name. And then Freckle from Biba, which also has tiny pan. On this palette, I have pan in 10 shades. This one, these three, this one, and these 4 eyeshadows. But I want to hit pan in a few shades, and I know I can hit pan on this one, which is I think Thorn from the Safari palette. And I also can hit pan on Indian Gold from the Green Brown palette as the 2 main goals. But I will see because a lot of these shades I haven't played with them since they are from the newer palettes that I got. The Purple Blue, the Lila palette, and then I think those are the only ones that are here. But I have other palettes that are new on the mini palette. So let's just go and show you the other Frankenpalette that I created. Okay, so again, I'm gonna start naming them like this because that way I can just start removing the pans with my spatula and tell you the names of the shades. If you guys don't want to know the names of the shades, let me know below so that way I can just skip that step, which is really hard to do. And on this one, let's count the pans first. So on this one, I have 19 palettes in total. With the 2 palettes, I have 29 pans, and I want to reach 49 pans this year in these 2 palettes combined. Yeah, hopefully I can do that. So I'm gonna do a close-up of the palette while telling you the names of the shades. Okay, so this is Transition from Glam. Then I have Giving from the Love palette, which already has pan in it. I have Glitz from the Retro palette, which is a new one in my collection. I have Psychedelic, which is also from the Retro palette. Center Eyelid, this one is from the Glam palette. Vivian from Retro. Maud from the Retro palette. And then First Love from the Love palette. Or First from the Love palette. On the second row, I have Lifetime from the Love palette, and this one has pan in it. Then I have Beach from the Bronze palette, which is a great transition shade. I also have pan on this one. I have Transparent from the Love palette, also has pan. Then I have Morgan from the Sunrise palette, which is a beautiful transition. I don't know how I haven't hit pan on this one. Queen from the Metropolis palette, also has pan in it. Rope, also from Metropolis. Pure from Metropolis, and this one has a big pan in it. And then Suntan from the Bronze palette, which is a beautiful brown, and I am about to hit pan on this one. This can be the first eyeshadow on this project that I will hit pan on. I have here Awakening from the Sunrise palette, and this is one, I think this is my favorite Natasha Denona eyeshadow, and this eyeshadow was the first one that I hit pan and expanded the pan when I created my first Frankenpalette. I have here Dayspring from the Sunrise palette, Crease from the Glam palette, Silk from the Bronze palette, and this one, it's a new pan, and it's a tiny pan, but it's a new pan for me. I have Andy from the Retro palette, Blend from the Glam palette, great transition shade too, Go Go from the Retro palette, Helio or Elio, I don't know how you pronounce it in English, from the Retro palette, and that's the third row. Then for the fourth row, I have here Deep Dive from the Bronze palette, which already has pan in it. Also Lash Line from the Glam palette, also has pan in it. Valentine from the Love palette, also has pan in it. It's a beautiful pink. And then I have Morning from the Sunrise palette. It doesn't have pan. I don't know how Morgan and that one don't have pan, because they are two of the most wearable shades that I would use as a transition while using any other color on my eyelid. I have here Maze from the Metropolis palette, and this one has pan in it. These I did a double pan, and this second pan is a new one. This is Antique from the Metropolis palette, and it's a cream to powder brown, so beautiful. I have here Palladium from the Bronze palette, also has pan in it. And then Magma from the Bronze palette. This looks brand new, so it's a brown. I know I can hit pan on it eventually. The three big ones that I have here, they don't have a name. This is from the Hoya palette, and it's beautiful. It's ochre with speckles of pink and silver. Then this one is Peach Gold from Hoya as well. It already has big pan in it, the other one too. And this is from the Cranberry palette. These, I think, it's Acelia. I don't remember the name, but it's one of my favorite, and this is a topper, a beautiful topper. It already has pan in it as well. Then I have Opart from Retro, Outer Lid from Glam, Outer Lid from Glam. These names from the Glam palette, they are the worst. Smoke from Glam, which already has pan in it. And then Troop from Metropolis, which is a beautiful greenish, dark green, musty green color. Okay, you guys, here you have it. I have here my two palettes. You already saw the names. I have 10 pans on the big one and 19 on the small one, and my goal is to reach 49 pans total, so 20 new pans on my Natasha Denona shadows from these Frankenpalettes. And sometimes I will get bored and rotate some of the colors that already have pan in them from the Frankenpalettes, so that I can have new pans if I feel stuck. But what I'm gonna try to do this year is not rotate it, but try to sort of like a pan that palette project and try to hit pan on the shades without rotating them, without giving them a chance to be used on my eyes. So I know you guys love this project. Let me know if you have created a Frankenpalette below, and you can even send me your picture on Instagram, or just tag me on your pictures on Instagram, or anything you want, we can chat. I'm gonna leave my information below. As an emoji, just leave a little Frankenstein or something Halloweeny for my Frankenpalette. And that's it, you guys. Let me know what you wanna see next on my channel. I love you, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.